Hello, welcome back to my channel. Miss Peggy here, all the way from North Texas, from my house to your house. So, today's going to be a little bit different. Usually I do penny shopping and penny shopping hauls and everything in between. Sometimes I do recipes, but today I'm going to talk to y'all about when I realized I was in a narcissistic relationship. Now, I didn't even know there was such a thing. I don't know why I didn't know that. I've always known that people can be jerks. I've always known that people could be a-holes. I've always known that, but I didn't realize that there was a disorder called narcissistic personality disorder. And, I've had really a bad time this year, 2022. I've had 2 brain aneurysms. I've had 2 brain aneurysms repaired with coils. I've had a 3rd aneurysm that's been discovered, and it's really small, and they say it's too small to do anything for. So that's what I had been dealing with, and it is part of the reason why I realized that I was living with a narcissist. Robert and I have been together for 18 years. We got together right before Christmas. His sister, my niece, lived with me. She rented a room from me to help me pay bills, because when my husband died, all he left me was alone. He didn't leave me with any money, any insurance, I had insurance to bury him with, but that was it. And so his income was mostly what we lived on. He was self-employed, and he had a carpet cleaning business, and we worked that. And so that's how we made our income. And then after he died, I had to put on my big girl britches and decide what I was going to do. So since I wasn't working and all I had was a carpet cleaning business that he had left, I had to make a decision. I either need to go out and get me a job, or I need to try to continue the self-employed carpet cleaning business. So that's what I did. I just told all the customers that Mike was passed away, and I was going to continue to do the job, and so that's what I did. So when Robert walked into my life and he came to stay in my house because his sister was here and he needed somewhere to stay because he had just broke up from his 20-year relationship with his wife after they raised their kids. And so that's how he got here. I never invited him here. We didn't date before he got here. His sister was living with me, and she invited him here. So I have a 4-bedroom, 2-story house. So my niece was downstairs in a bedroom. I was downstairs in a bedroom, and there was 2 rooms upstairs just sitting there. So when he got here, I told my niece that he could just stay in a bedroom upstairs. So that's where he stayed until he maneuvered himself into my life. So that's what I was wanting to talk to y'all about. So this is how I found out. On November the 15th, I had to go back to the hospital, and they had to go up my wrist into my artery and go up into my brain and look at the aneurysm repairs and ensure that they were complete, they were still intact, they were doing what they were supposed to be doing, and my aneurysms were not pulsing the blood through them. And so they did that, and they said everything is good and I'm good to go and I can come back in a year. But on November the 15th, when I got home from the hospital, Robert was very edgy. He had been rude to people at the hospital. He had like left me at the hospital, told me to text him whenever I got ready for pickup. It was like I didn't understand why he was acting like that, but I had my own health problems right then, and I didn't really worry about it. But anyway, on November the 16th, um, Robert was upset, and I told him it's like it's very important for me to stay calm and keep my blood pressure down because that's what causes my aneurysm to grow is high blood pressure. And so he just started screaming at me, and he said he does not care about my health or my blood pressure, and he's never going to care about it. And I was just blown away that he even said that. And so, I thought about it from the 15th, the 16th, the 17th, the 18th. I got on the internet and I Googled what makes a person scream and holler when they don't hear what they want to hear in a conversation. And go. And boom, it popped up on the screen. Narcissistic personality disorder. I didn't even know that was a thing. So I started reading everything I could get my eyes on for the next week. And one lady that I've watched really extensively is Dr. Romani. And she is a narcissistic doctor. And so I've been watching her. So by Monday, November the 21st, I was so upset that I had not known that Robert's plan was always to destroy me. And everything that he had done to me in 18, 19 years, boom, it just came up in a play in my mind. It's like, that's why he did this. That's why he did that. That's why he did this. It's like everything that he had done was on the table right then and there with Dr. Romani explaining to me what that is, narcissistic personality disorder. So on Monday, November the 21st, I got up and I got dressed and, I didn't get dressed. I got up, ate my breakfast, piddled around, took my medicine, took my nap around 10 or 11, got up about 12 or 1, got dressed then, and got my purse, and I just walked out the door. I didn't tell Robert where I was going. I didn't tell him what I was doing. I didn't tell him nothing. I just didn't speak to him. And he's sitting in the recliner, and he watched me walk out the door. And so I went to the courthouse, and I was kind of upset, and I had to go downtown. I didn't really know where I was going. I thought I did, but I didn't. And downtown Fort Worth, Cowtown has 4 courthouses downtown. Who would have thought? So I went to one courthouse, and I parked like 5, 6 blocks from it because I couldn't find parking close enough, and walked all the way to the courthouse just to be told, oh, that's not the right courthouse. You need to go down so many blocks, take a left, go to that courthouse. And I was like, okay. So I walked all the way back down to where I was parked. I parked and walked back to the other courthouse. I never moved my car, but that was like 6 or 8 blocks. And went to that courthouse, and lo and behold, what'd they tell me? Not this courthouse, it's in that other courthouse. So after I walked to the 3rd courthouse and found out that's not the right courthouse, I was done. I was just toast. I was tired. It's like, okay, I'm just going to come back tomorrow, and I'll go to that other courthouse. I'll park closer to there. That's where I went to jury duty one time, and I'm good with that. So I got to take my shirt off. I'm getting hot. Hang on. Okay, so then I put the restraining order in on the phone when I got back. I just called the 1-800 number that I found online, and they did it on the phone. And it was like a state protective custody or something for seniors. And so I put it in, and that was like Tuesday or Monday, and I didn't hear anything from them. I didn't know when they were coming. They didn't tell me when they were coming, so I was about to give up on them. So Thursday, on December the 3rd, no, on December the 1st, at 10:45, I was laying on the bed getting ready for my nap, and I heard somebody knock on the front door. And when they knocked on the front door, it was definitely the wooden door. Like they opened up the storm door and they were knocking hard on the wooden door. And the only time I've ever heard anybody in 50 years knock like that on my front door was a police. They always open the door and they pound really loud. So I thought maybe it might be the police, so I kind of looked around the corner to see the door, and I could see Robert walking toward it. So he opened the door, and I could hear a guy and said, "Is Peggy here?" And he said my last name. And he said, "Yeah." And he said, "Can I come in?" And Robert goes, "Yeah, you can come in." So he let him in. He's standing in the living room. And he goes, "Where is she?" And he goes, "She's in the bedroom." And he goes, "Can I talk to her?" And he goes, "Yeah, you can talk to her." So he just told him to go in the bedroom. So he came in there and told me who he was and what he was here for, to escort Robert to the curb. And so I told him, I was like, okay. And he wanted to talk to me. And he said after he talked to me, he'd go in there and talk to Robert. So I told him, just go ahead and shut the bedroom door, because I knew Robert could hear what he had to say. So I wanted a little more privacy so he couldn't hear what I was going to say. So he talked to me, and I told him I did want him to leave, and that has not changed. And so he went in the living room and talked to Robert and told Robert that he was there to issue the restraining order, and he was to leave the property, and he was going to escort him off the property. So Robert explained to him that today was Thursday, and his son had already told him that he was coming to pick him up Saturday, 2 days from then, and pick him up and take him to Oklahoma. So at that point, he already had all of his belongings that hadn't already been loaded in his son's car, because they spent 3 days prior to that loading up all of what he wanted out of my house. He stowed everything he could get his hands on. He took every tool out of my house, the drills, the electric drills, all those things that he could pawn. He took all of that. He took all the cash I had in the house. He just pilfered and took everything he wanted. And his son was here at 1 o'clock a.m. in the morning. I had already been asleep for several hours whenever he came in the first night. Robert just flipped the bedroom door open and flipped the light on and startled me, which shoots my blood pressure up, and said that that he was moving his stuff out. And I just said, fine. And so they started just taking it out of here. And there was nothing I could do about it. I had called the police, but they said since Robert lived here and he was considered 50 partner, he could take anything he wanted out of this house, and there wasn't nothing they could do about it or I could do about it. And so I was just kind of stuck just watching him take all my stuff. So after he did all of that on the 28th, 29th, and the 27th, I think, of November, on December the 3rd, Saturday, Robert left my house at 2 o'clock. His son came and picked him up at 2 o'clock. And they threw the rest of his stuff out the front door. And I'd already had the keys in my possession, so he didn't even have a house key. So on December the 13th, I didn't hear anything from Robert from December the 3rd to December the 16th. So on December the 16th, I got a message on my text, on my phone, from my neighbor across the street. And she was like, "Peggy, are you okay?" Said Robert's on Facebook posting stuff. And I was like, well, what's he saying? And so she sent me the text of the post. And I just explained to her, I was like, well, he's just mad, you know, I filed a restraining order, we're broke up, and we divorced, and that's what's happening. And so she's like, oh, okay, and she was sorry, you know, that I was going through that. And so on December the 16th at 12 a.m., Robert started bombing my phones. He started calling my cell phone, he started calling my house phone, and he was just leaving messages, bombing me, bombing me, bombing me. He left one at 12:09, 12:11, 12:12, 12:15, 12:17, 12:18. And after that, I was tired of listening to him because the answering machine is in my bedroom. And so I just got up. I went over there. I unplugged the answering machine, and I unplugged the landline, and I just turned off my cell phone, and I went back to bed. I never got back to sleep. I was awake all night long. I think I was drinking cappuccino at 5 a.m. on the 16th. So, on the 17th, Robert started posting Facebook posts on his social media. And he started posting and trashing me. He was trashing his life as a child. He trashed his mother. He trashed his sister. He put I think about 50 posts on Facebook. In some of his posts, I saw that he was like, no, Facebook, I don't need mental counseling. I might have before, but I don't now. And so Facebook had been sending him messages telling him to seek mental counseling. And because of his post, then I saw a couple of posts where he says Facebook's deleting his post. He said, well, that's fine. He'll get his message out some other way. You know, it's just disheartening that somebody can be that damaged. And you know what I read on YouTube on Dr. Romney's narcissistic personality disorders, what they'll do before and what they do after you break up and stuff. He has done exactly word for word what she said he would do. And so since she said he would go to social media, I was waiting for that and watching for it, and boom, just like clockwork, there it came. And then boom, just like clockwork, he said exactly what she said he would, start trashing you. So yeah, so you know, I'm really torn about it. It's really affected me emotionally because that is just devastating. You know, it crumbles my life as well as his. But yeah, when you find out that somebody is like that and you didn't even know they existed. I've been on the internet, and I have always told Robert that I was a Christian. And the first thing out of Robert's mouth is that he's an atheist. And I just told him right off the bat, it's like, you know, I'm not responsible for your soul. You are. And I'm not going to hell. You know, I've always claimed to be a Christian. I believe in God. I believe God is love. I believe that Satan is the devil. I believe that Satan is who he says he is, and I believe God is who he is. And we only have two choices in this world. We can either choose good with God, or we can choose evil with the devil. And obviously, I don't know what I did in my life. I thought I had seen it all, and I guess God was here to say, no, you haven't seen it all. I'm going to show you. And you need to be careful. So even though you're a widow and your husband had died, you most definitely need to know this. So I believe that Satan sent him here to try to destroy me. And I was strong enough that, sure, it interrupted my life for 18 years and it's caused some difficulties in 18 years, but I have never, let me make this clear, I have never been weak. I have never been controlled by other people. And I've always told Robert no. The first no I told him was, no, I'm not putting your name on my house. And no, I'm not putting your name on my bank account. And those were the very first things that was important to him when we got into a committed relationship, even though I wouldn't get married because I was drawing survivor's benefits, and he seemed to not really care about that because he didn't have any income. So Robert basically has never had any income as long as we've been together. I take that back. The first year when we were like dating, he had a job, but by the time we were committed and he was sleeping in my bedroom every day and not sleeping in the spare bedroom every day, he quit his job, or he got fired. I'm not really sure which, but then he lost his car, and he's never had anything since. So he's just been happy, living here for free, trying to control my world. Oops. I guess that's on the timer. But trying to control my world and having a hard time with it. So the day before he left, I knew that he was taking all of my stuff, and I don't know why this keeps going off. But he took a brand new bag of charcoal off the back porch and put it by the front door. And I was like, I wonder why he's taking that charcoal. You know, there's got to be something that he wants. And I was like, there's 3 briskets and 3 pork butts in the freezer. So I was like, I bet you he's planning on taking those, because he's already taken everything else in my house for 3 days that he wanted after midnight. So I text my neighbor and I was like, what time you get home? She goes, well, I'll be home in 5 minutes. And I said, okay, I'm going to meet you in the street. So when she drove up, I walked out there and I asked her, I said, Robert's fixing to take my frozen briskets and pork butts. I need somewhere to put them. And she goes, oh, okay, well, we got room for them. And I said, well, can Pedro, her husband, come over and help me get them? She goes, sure. So she texted me and said they're on their way. And I looked out the window and they were walking across the street. They came in my house. They took those out and they saved them. And actually, day 4 yesterday, they brought them back. And they are back safe in my deep freeze. And one of the comments Robert made on his Facebook is that I gave away all his briskets that he paid for. He never paid for them. He's never had any money. So those are my briskets, not his. So that's my story. And I'm sticking to it. And that is exactly how I found out that I was living with a narcissist. And I am not going to let the devil have his way in my life. I've always practiced get away. So protect your soul, stay with God, and stay away from that devil. And the devil will come into your house. He will come into your life with people. And I didn't know that. I thought that I only had to worry about him out of hell. No, he's got people in life living on this earth that will come and try to destroy you. So, it's sad. I know it's sad, but it is the truth, and that's exactly why I'm going to spend Christmas alone. Christmas is what? Jesus' birthday. I love y'all. Adios from North Texas, and goodbye from Cowtown. And y'all stay safe and stay happy, and don't let anybody control your happiness.